It is 2012, but before we look at what's going on right now, I'd like to step back a few months to when BMW released the 1 Series M. It was one of the most anticipated cars of last year and is now one of the hottest new cars you can buy. It is a 250 kilowatt, 450 Newton meter monster that stole a lot of headlines, even though at the time it was released, there was another 250 kilowatt, 450 Newton meter monster. And this is it, Audi's most potent production A3 ever, the RS3. Dressed in red with its optional gloss black accent, it absolutely looks like it means business, and even though the lucky overseas population gets to choose between a coupe and this 4-door Sportback version, here in South Africa, the one you're looking at is the only one available from your friendly Audi dealer. And now all the purists are moaning, but to be honest, I always thought the Sportback was the better looking of the two options. Sure, now in this car you have a set of rear doors that you don't particularly need or really want, but because of this body style, the rear is leaner and more sporty and gives this car a more purposeful look. Big bladed rims, dropped suspension, LED bits, the RS3 features all the elements you want in a car that can rival machinery twice its price. I know a few people who have grumbled about those huge ducts in the front bumper, but I think they look great, and in a car like this, subtlety isn't always appreciated. It may be the more sensible body style, but it still manages a compact shape with wheel arches and extra plastic bits and lots of mesh to give it a look that suggests it's more about power, less about practicality. And the interior suggests that it's nothing special. Well, for an Audi anyway. There's nothing in here to suggest that you're in a performance machine besides the subtle RS3 badging in the seat. There are no race-inspired bits like carbon fiber inserts or big bucket seats. And all that gives you some idea as to what this car is about. It's all leather and good plastics and classy accents. There's no doubt you feel more relaxed than race-ready when you sit behind the wheel. And the spec list also leans more towards keeping you comfortable than competitive. The standard car is already pretty well kitted, but in here we've got niceties like sat-nav. This Audi's natural rival is the BMW 1 Series M, and that car is a highly strung hardcore brute with performance at its core. Its main reason for living is to make you feel like a driving champion all the time. The RS3 wants to make you feel like a driving champion when the time is right. We're at Midval Racetrack, which is a great place to find out just what this car can do. It's got a long straight where you can feel the endless shove of the 5-cylinder turbo motor. It's got a great mix of corners where you can really appreciate what the Quattro all-wheel drive and the electronic diff lock get up to. And this car loves to show off. It is very quick. 0 to 100 happens in just 4.6 seconds, and you always seem to run out of road before it runs out of acceleration. It takes just a moment for the turbo to build up a bit of puff before shoving you off into the distance, and the shove just keeps going. And when some corners do get in the way, the brakes grab hold of the situation pretty quickly. The paddle-shifting S-tronic gearbox is smooth and quick, and the suspension and the steering dispatch with the corners with almost no effort at all. In fact, it's all just so easy. Which is what the RS3 is about. Yes, it has a great sounding motor with lots of power, and it looks like it wants to beat you up, but ultimately, it just wants to show you a good time. And you don't require supreme abilities or a racing license to appreciate its performance skills. And although there are lots of performance skills, as always, a manual gearbox would make things even more fun. The truth is, the chance that anyone will spend 525,000 Rand on one of these and then thrash it around a racetrack with any sort of regularity is slim. In truth, the RS3 will be used like just about any other car, for the daily office commute or the occasional road trip. And if you think that's beneath this car's stature, well, the truth is, you get the best of both worlds. On an everyday basis, the RS3 is an easy drive. It has a harder than usual ride setup, but that's to be expected. What is rather unexpected is that despite its performance prowess, it doesn't feel like a handful. It's compliant, it's easy to use, and while the interior may be nothing special given its RS pedigree, it is well equipped and it's comfortable. BMW's 1 Series M can quite easily be described as a monster. Now, the RS3 has the same sort of power and ability and is every bit as immense, but somehow it's not intent on destroying everything in its path. So in that regard, it's less of a fire-breathing dragon and more of a big friendly giant. The 250 kilowatt 5-cylinder powerhouse at the core of the RS3 provides loads of speed and muscle, but without turning this red-hot hatch into a white-knuckle machine. It's tractable and good-looking, and it flatters the driver. But some would prefer the coupe shape, and the cabin could be a bit more interesting.